Hello, what's going on everybody? This is Jay from Maji and Jay, and today finally we're going to be reviewing the Elephone P6000, in which I got from the website pandawill.com. Now this device I paid exactly $169, and I gotta say guys that it is quite impressive, but like many Chinese devices out there, it has its pros and cons. First of all, let's get started here with the physical aspects. On the front, we're going to have a 5-inch, 5-point multi-touch screen with a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. And yes, it is an IPS OGS. It has great viewing angles, and it comes with this new glass. It is called blue light tempered glass. It is supposed to protect you from the light produced by the LCD, and also it is a little bit stronger than Gorilla Glass number 3. And now let's get started here by first of all checking the viewing angles of this screen. So let's go ahead and turn off the lights. And now here we can notice guys that on viewing angles, this device does have very nice beautiful colors. They are very vivid and clear as well. And even though it is a 720p displays, the colors are so nice that it makes it feel like if it was a 1080p display, but it is not. And now with the lights turned on, the next thing we can see on the top here is the 2 megapixel sensor camera. We got the ear speaker together with the proximity and light sensor. Now this device does not support a notification LED light. However, the home button here on the bottom does blink every time you guys get a notification. It's only going to be one color, which is blue. So whether if you're getting an email, a missed call, or maybe a text message, this is going to blink, and we're going to see that later on in the video. You also got here the menu key and the back key. On the left side, it's going to be plain. Now we have the illusion here that the glass is protruded, but that's not going to be the case. That's just part of the design. On the bottom, we're going to see here the charging/data port. We got the microphone. On the right side, it's going to be the volume rockers up and down together with the power button on the same location. On the top, finally, we got here the 3.5mm headphone jack, and we can see that we don't have a secondary microphone this time. On the back of the device, you find here the 13 megapixel sensor camera. It does support autofocus. We got here the LED flash, the Elephone logo, and finally the loudspeaker on the bottom. If you open here at the top, you're going to see that this is a dual standby device, and it comes with a 2700 milliamp battery, which is working well. Because have in mind guys that this does have the MTK6732, which is supposed to be 50% stronger than the MTK6582, and also about 20% stronger than the MTK6592 octa-core. But have in mind that it is also a power saving device because we have the 64-bit system inside this time. So yes, this is going to save you battery quite dramatically, and I was able to test that on the usage that I put on this device. We can see here that this is a dual standby phones. Now the only downside of this phone, which is the only thing that I see that could be an inconvenience here in the USA, is that we don't have the band supported. This is only a WCDMA 900 and 2100, so it's not going to support 3G neither with T-Mobile or AT&T, and we are also not going to get 4G LTE, unfortunately. Other than that, this is the perfect phone guys, and for $169 it's absolutely outstanding. We also got here the TF card slots and supports it up to 64 gigabytes. So with this being said, let's go ahead and actually power off the device so that we can see the boot logo this time. And here we can see we have two IMEI information together with the model number and information about this phone. Now let's go ahead and install the battery and check out the boot logo. And now that we have installed the battery, I think that we're ready to power on this device, and it's going to have the exact same boot logo as the Elephone P3000S that I unboxed and reviewed not too long ago, as you guys can see right here. Also, this phone comes with 2 gigabytes of internal RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and I think that's more than sufficient to download many games, in which I have done already, but of course I'll get through that in just a second. And also on the back, we have this polycarbonate material that makes it feel every time your hands are sweaty or wet, makes it feel like it's going to fall off your hands, even though it doesn't. I wish it came with some cases so that way we can protect the device in case that happens. And now I believe this device has booted up, and the first thing we see here is the time. We got the date, and to unlock it you only got one option. It doesn't come with other options. The only one that we have right now is to unlock the device, in which we're going to do right now. And the operating system on this device is going to be the Android 4.4.4. We're going to get the Android Lollipop very soon on this device. I believe it's going to be by the end of this month or the beginning of February, which is only a few weeks behind. And I thought I was going to get it by the beginning of this month, but I didn't. That's why I was holding the review of this device until I couldn't resist anymore, and I just decided to share with you guys how I feel about this phone. We can see that it has a very similar operating system to the Color OS that we've seen before. If we go here into settings and we go to about device, we're going to see that this device is showing as it is the Android 4.4.2, and in fact it's correct. I have tested this many times, and here we can see that yes guys, this is one of the latest operating system, except that we know that it is not. The latest right now is the Android Lollipop, in which I thought it was going to come pre-installed with this device, but as of right now it doesn't. And here we can see how the home button lights up when the device is on. It is quite bright, especially if you're using this at nighttime. You're going to be able to also see the menu key and the back key. Now this device is also very snappy, and that's because even though it is a quad-core processor, this time it's clocked at 1.5 gigahertz, so it is very fast. It doesn't lag at all. Something that I haven't seen in a Chinese device for a long time. Usually they do lag, especially when installing applications. Now have in mind, guys, that this is 2 gigabytes of RAM, so yes, it's going to support many applications before it lags. And also, guys, we got a great Antutu benchmark test on this device. It was about 30,695 as we can see here. So I'm also going to give you all the information that I got. We can see here the brand. It is claiming to be the Elephone, the model P6000. Now the funny part about this operating system is that it is a 32-bit system. It is not 64-bit, even though the hardware on this device is for a 64-bit device. Maybe with the Android Lollipop we can get that fixed, because right now, as we can see right there, it is showing as 32-bit and not 64-bit. We got the MTK6732. We have also the GPUs. The new one is called Mali T760. The one before this one was the 750, which also performs quite well. We can see here the resolution of the device. The camera is a 13 megapixel sensor, and yes, this time is correct. And here I'm just going to scroll down so that you guys can see the remaining of the information. But here we can see, guys, that the CPU, the MTK6732, it is saying here that the type is 64-bit. However, the operating system, once again, is only a 32-bit system. If you continue to go down, we can see here also that the Android SDK version is the Android 4.4.x, meaning that yes, this is the Android KitKat. If you continue to go down, you can see here all the sensors supported, and like always, I have downloaded this application. It is called Android Sensor Box, in which we're going to check all the sensors. So let's go back once here, and we can see that the only ones not supported here is going to be the temperature sensor. We got the gyroscope sensor and also the pressure sensor. Other than that, most of the, I would say, the most important sensors are supported on this phone. This device impressively came installed with many of the Google applications. We got here the Play Store, and the great news is that we don't need to root it to install other applications, but if you guys want to root it, I just use vroot. And I know that a lot of people complain about vroot, but I never had any issues with it. But this particular model actually came already pre-rooted, and it was installed with the YouTube application. Now I'm not sure if maybe the seller, Panda Will, is going to complete this for you guys, or maybe the factory. I'm not sure. I highly doubt that it's going to be the factory, because mostly manufacturers, they do not allow rooting, because that's going to void your warranty. But this particular model that I got from pandawood.com came rooted, and that was definitely a plus. I have also installed this application. It is called Google Camera, which I think is one of these two, and here we have it. So that also confirms, guys, that yes, this is the Android KitKat, because this specific application, at least as far as I'm concerned, it is only supported with Android KitKat. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the 13 megapixel sensor on the back, and then the front is going to be a 2 megapixel sensor. And I believe that on the test I mentioned that the front facing camera is a 5 megapixel sensor, but no, it is not. It is only a 2 megapixel sensor. So please, let's go ahead and check it out and let me know what you guys think. What's going on, YouTubers? This is Jay, and here we have the Elephone P6000, and this is the camera test of the 13 megapixel sensor on the back. And as we can tell, the colors are very nice. The overall focus is great. The colors are very nice and vivid as well. Now, I'm overall satisfied with the focus, because many Chinese devices do lack this feature, but this particular model is actually pretty good. And now let's test the front-facing camera. And finally, we have here the 2 megapixel sensor camera of the Elephone P6000, and as you guys can see, the quality is very nice. It's also very bright, something rare on Chinese devices, but this particular model has a very good camera on the front. It is decent for Skype, Ubu, or any other social media out there. Alrighty, guys, and there we have it for the camera test. And if you open here the UI, we're going to see that it is a very basic UI. Now there's a bug on this camera that every time that you open it, you're going to see this animation, and it is acting as if it is a brand new camera, or that you actually are using it for the first time, which is not the case. It is kind of annoying, and to get rid of it, all you have to do is press here on the back button, and you can see that it's going to give us here the standard UI. On the top, you're going to have beauty face mode, we have panorama mode, and many others, as we can see here on the top. If you go here into settings, we're going to confirm that the back camera is in fact a 13 megapixel sensor, and this time is correct, guys. This is not faked, as we can see here. And also the front facing camera, let's go ahead and flip it around. It's going to be the 2 megapixel sensor camera, which is working quite well. And here we can see that the overall quality is going to be great for selfies, Skype, or any other social media out there. So let's go here into settings. We can see that right now it is claiming to be a 5 megapixel sensor actually, but that's not correct. This is only a 2 megapixel sensor, which is working quite well. What I like about this camera is that this time the brightness is a little bit better than any other device out there, and also the aperture appears to be very big here. As we can see, the camera lens is quite wide, something that we barely see on these Chinese devices. And also guys, I was able to install this application. It is called YouTube, and I installed it directly into the system. And here we can see one of my videos. I was playing it earlier. And here we're going to see guys that my latest video is the number 1 G2, or about the number 1 G2. Let's go ahead and open it and see if it's working. Let's go ahead and back it out. And here we can hear that the back speaker is actually pretty good. Right now it's at its max. Also the quality, we can go up to HD, so that symbolizes that yes, this is a 720p display, as we can see right here. And I gotta say guys that this application works far better than any other Chinese device that I used before, so I was very pleased with the YouTube application this time. And the next thing we're going to do now guys is go ahead and test the GPS. The GPS on this phone also works perfectly well out of the box. We don't have to do any type of customizations to it. So let's go ahead and check it out and let me know what you guys think. Okay guys, and here we have the GPS test of the Elephone P6000, and as you guys can see, it's working quite well. The great news is that we don't need to modify the system or hack it in order to get it working. It comes like this right out of the box, and it's very accurate as well. And now let's go ahead and test it from inside of the house. Alrighty guys, now that we're done with the GPS test, here we can see that from inside of the house it is getting a great signal reception, and it's actually quite fast. It takes about, I would say at the most, 10 to 15 seconds to lock a signal. So yes, without question, this device does have a very strong GPS, and the great news, like I said on the testing, is that we don't have to customize it or hack it in order to get it working. It comes like this right out of the box. Now the next thing we're going to do here is go ahead and test the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth on this device is also very good. Let's go here into settings. Let's make sure that it is currently activated. Let's go ahead and turn it on, and this time we're going to do it with this little tiny speaker that I unboxed and reviewed not too long ago. It is claimed to be the smallest speaker in the world. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and I believe it goes on Perry mode by itself. And as we can see, I have connected here previously to my Bose SoundLink Mini. So let's see how long it takes for this thing to read it, and let's see how long it takes to connect. It is normally about, I would say, 10 to 15 seconds at the most. And right now it has connected, which is great. Now the next thing we're going to do is go back once. Let's go here into audio profiles. Then let's go into settings, and let's test the quality of this little speaker. The response time is very good. And now that we have turned off the speaker, let's go ahead and test the speaker on the back of the phone. Now, even though the back speaker is quite loud, guys, it is not the best out there. It doesn't give you a lot of, I would say, bass to it, but at least it sounds great when your device is put down, and that's because the sound comes out of the bottom here. As we can see, there's a little curve to it. So yes, the sound quality does appear to be very nice and loud. And with that being said, guys, I would like to also mention that this device does support OTG, which is USB on the go. So if you have one of these, you can actually hook it up to the bottom of the device, and you can connect mice, keyboards, or any other accessories that you guys wish to connect to it, like extended memory. So this is definitely a plus. And here I also got my little weight scale, so that way we can check the grams on this device. And right now on default it's going to be in grams, so let's wait until it boots up. And there we have it. So let's go ahead and place it on top, and here we can see that this phone is about 174 grams, so it is a little bit heavier than the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. So yes, this is not light. It feels very nice and sturdy in your hands, and it doesn't squeak when you press it in hard. So right now I'm squeezing it, and the device feels, again guys, very nice and firm. I'm pretty sure that any country out there that can take advantage of the LTE support on this device, they are going to be very happy with the performance of this phone. And with that being said, guys, the next thing we're going to do here is play with some applications and games that I have downloaded. Now, I gotta say that this phone is not, very special when it comes to extra features, and that's because we don't have gesture wake, we don't have air gestures, we don't have the touchback panel on the back that it is enabled. We don't have any of those features that we've seen before, and also we don't have NFC. Other than that, this device is recommended, especially for those countries that can take advantage of the LTE support on this phone, or that can at least support 3G, in which here in the USA we cannot. And now let's go ahead and get started here with testing all the applications, so make sure you guys enjoy it. Guys, and there we saw some of the performance and applications about the system of this phone, and as we can see, it is very snappy, is working great, especially with the MTK6732. I think that, in my personal opinion, is one of the best MTKs out there, except that they have also the octa-core version of the 64-bit system, which is the MTK6752. These two processors, I think, are going to be the future of the Chinese devices for 2015, so I'm very excited to see maybe many clones like Samsung Galaxy Note 4 clones and possibly the Samsung Galaxy S6 clone as well. And with that being said, the next time we're going to test here is the browser. As I mentioned before, this device is not going to support LTE or 3G here in the USA. It's only going to be with Wi-Fi basically. So here we're going to open the browser and test it. Let's say here with ebay.com, and let's see how fast it's going to load. And of course with Wi-Fi, it's going to be very fast. And like I mentioned before, guys, the only unfortunate side of this phone, and that would have made it perfect if it did support 3G and also 4G LTE here in the USA. Now, for those countries who are very lucky by getting support on LTE, I think this is definitely a great buy, especially for $169. Here we can see that on Wi-Fi it is very fast. And then lastly, we're going to perform here a phone call test. We're going to go ahead and dial 611. Now we're going to place it here on loudspeaker. Let's go ahead and flip it around. Right now it's at its max. Now let's test here the ear speaker. The ear speaker on this device, without questions, is very loud. I was very satisfied with the ear speaker, especially when you're calling from outside. There's a lot of wind noise, traffic noise. I wasn't having any trouble with this device, so I gotta say that the call quality at least is going to be very satisfying on this phone. And with that being said, guys, I think I have covered every single detail about this device, but of course, if you guys do have any questions, please don't forget to comment down below. I will also be bringing many unboxings and the announcement of the giveaway for this little watch back here, which is a very good watch. So please stay tuned to the channel, and like always, if you guys have any questions, don't forget to comment down below. Please like the video, subscribe for more, and have a good one.